I want to share with you a little album today that is inspired by some little notepads that I picked up recently at the Dollar Tree. And you might, if you've seen this video, you might recognize this little ticket on the front here. I thought it worked perfectly here. I will put a link to how I made these little tickets. But this is just a little album that has this tie closure, and it opens up into two little pockets with these little notepads inside. These are 3x3 notepads that, like I said, came from the Dollar Tree. Seems like I've seen little notepads like this before at Walmart, but this was in the Halloween section. And if you don't have these little notebooks, if you can't find them still, or if it's past Halloween, these are great little things you can make yourself with some cute decorative paper and coffee paper inside, and you can put those together. You can, this I think looks like it was maybe sewn together if you want to do some sewing, or staples work just as well. But these fit nicely inside here. If you didn't want to use little notebooks like this, these are great to put in little journaling cards or pictures, anything like this. And I'm going to jump in and show you that. For this one, we're going to open up, and I was inspired to use this notepad here. And let me take these out. These have the vintagey look, and there's a couple of others in here, but let's see. So these are the two that I have. I love this style, and if you remember, let me show you the little candy treat bags that match this. So this Halloween, Dollar Tree has the matching candy gift bags, and I have used some different projects with them, and these are also great not only for little double pocket envelopes. I'll put the link to that video on here as well, where I use this same size envelope, or this same size bag, to make the double pocket envelope. But these are great to work inside journals themselves as well. So that matches. This would make a cute little thing together. But I'm going to go with this particular notepad for the one that I'm going to show you here. And one of the main reasons is I have this very older, or this older Stampin' Up! Paper pad. It's called Houndstooth and Scaring Bone Designer Series paper. So this paper is, I'm going to guess, maybe around 2012. Some of you that have ordered Stampin' Up! Or been around Stampin' Up! For a while, you might can tell me, but I thought this palette would work well together. There's just something about it, you know, similar colors, of course. I love the gray and the black, and so I have picked out some colors that we're going to use. I've got those right over here. We're going to use our base of this black cardstock, and that's what similar to what we used here. So let's jump into all the measurements and everything you're going to need to make one of these little notepad albums. We're going to begin with a 4" by 11" sheet of cardstock, and I'm using black for this project. I love that you can take a regular 8.5 by 11" sheet of paper, split it at the 4" line, and you can get two of these out of one. We're going to do some scoring for this, and so I'm going to start off, I'm using my trimmer here to score. I'm going to score at 1 3/4. Then we're going to go to 5 1/4. That's going to give us this 3.5. We're going to have a 3.5" cover and back cover. It's easier to me then to just turn it back around, and let's repeat the same thing at 1 3/4. And then 5 1/4. And that should leave us a 1/2 inch spine here. And there are our score lines, and we're going to do some folding. So let's just fold on each of those score lines, and you're going to see how this little album is coming to life. This is one of those projects, though, that it's also important to apply your paper in the order that I'm giving because there are some things that we want to do in that right order so that we don't miss out on doing some covering up or that sort of thing. So this is our basic structure of our album. Very nice and easy here. So now let me tell you about the decorative paper sizes. We're going to first start off with the paper that we're going to put on the inside here. Now, this is a total dimension from our cover of 3.5 by 4 with a 1/2 inch spine. And so same thing from the inside. Our flap over our little pocket is 1 3/4 inches there. And here you could fill in paper to cover this whole area, but since we're going to be folding this down and gluing it, you're not going to see this 1 3/4 inch. But I like to go in a little far. So what I've chosen, this beautiful plaid with the gray, I love the polka dots on the back, and we're going to use that as well in another area. But I have chosen to go with 2.5 by 3 7/8. And so when I line this up, we're going to put it as, we're going to give us a little bit of a border. But see what's going to happen then when we cover that up? No one will ever know that we didn't go all the way to the end. It's just saving up on a little bit of paper. So to apply these, I'm just going to use my regular tape runner because this is a pretty safe section. It shouldn't pop up in any way. If you want to use some of your other kind of tapes, that's fine. I like to place it right here. And like I said, I'm not going to go all the way to the end because I've got a border around each of these anyway. And so to be consistent, let's keep a border right here with the spine. I've chosen not to include any paper on the spine and just go with that black cardstock. Let's do the same thing on the other side. See, I've got a little bit of that tape that ran over. So again, I'm just going to line up and have just a little bit of a border, and we'll place that down. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pockets down. We're going to glue those down. If you want to go ahead and do the covering here, you can, but I kind of like to get it in place and start the drying process. Now to do these, I'm really going to make sure that I've burnished these folds down, and I'm going to use this red line tape, or you may have heard it called baloney tape. It's just a really strong tape, and I'm going to use that along with some glue because we're moving our little booklet in and out here, so I really want this pocket to stay closed. So this is, I think it's a 1/4 inch red line tape, and I'm just going to apply it right here on the edge of this. Now this is really sticky tape, and once it's down, it's pretty much down. So I really like that, but you have to be careful and be ready to use it. I'm just going to burnish these, really get those down. I want that to stay. And in all actuality, I probably don't also have to use my Tombow, but I'm going to. I just really want it to be secure. So let's get the cover off of this tape. And this is really sticky. That's the only thing about working with this, is these covers really stick to you. Whoops, I had that one. Okay, now let's just put a little bit of glue along this as well. We're wanting this permanent hold. And then I'm just going to fold this down, and we'll burnish those edges. Let me put my glue sheet under. Since I did use some glue, it could seep out. And then I'm gonna flip it around and go ahead and place a block on top so it can be drying that way. And then I'm just gonna repeat over here for the other side. And I finished up this other side. I'm gonna place this down. And I'm gonna let this sit for just a few minutes just so that it can really get a good hold and I know that it's dry. Now I've chosen the opposite side of this plaid that I have on the inside, which is the gray polka dots. And this is like a cream. It's not a pure white, as you can probably tell. So these are the pieces that are gonna go on my pockets. And they are 1 5/8 by 3 7/8. And we're just gonna attach those here like we did this. I think it's gonna be fine to use our tape runner with that. I just want to get it on the edges. And we're going to just line this up again. We should have a little bit of a border around each of the edges. Line that up. And there we go. And let's repeat. I'm just going to place this down just for fun. And let's do this here. And again, place this over. Don't have any pieces over here. Okay. Place that down. And there we go. And so we have basically our inside complete. I think that looks so cute. Very fallish. Now let's work on the outside. Now I have taken a piece of coordinating ribbon that is almost 24 inches in length. I wanted to have a longer piece here on the end so that I can tie this big bow. I like that. It's just dependent on what you want to use for your final project and how you want everything to look. So I'm going to go ahead, because I'm placing this around the book, I need to put this on before I place my papers on the front cover. And so I just want to kind of wrap this and get a placement. We want our ribbon to be equal and see where everything is going to line up with the book closed like this. And I'm going to show you why that's important in just a moment. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my tape runner for right now. We're going to use some other things in a moment. I'm going to hold this ribbon here in place and just kind of fold it back so I can see the line. And then I can just place this there. Now we're going to, again, continue to keep everything lined up. Fold it on the back, and we need to do the same thing. So I'm going to kind of roll it back, keep my placement. It's just this one underneath helps me to see where I need to place the tape. And then take this. I'm not pulling it super tight, but I want everything pretty taut. There. Okay. So we can kind of see and see how it fits nice there. Now the reason it's important to do this instead of when we flatten out is because look what happens on the spine when we flatten it out. It kind of buckles up a little bit, and that buckling when it's straight allows us to be able to fold it together. If we made it taut right here in this direction, it would be too tight when we folded it, right? So we need to do it in that particular order. Now, as I begin to place my papers, though, I do like to lay it flat, but I've already got these pieces taped down, and I'm going to be considerate of this little pooch right here. The base paper that I'm going to use on the front cover are these two pieces that I think I love the polka dots. I'm a polka dot fan. And these sizes are 3 3/8 by 3 7/8. So again, we're going to do a little bit of a border around each of these. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mainly be using my tape runner, but I am going to place a little bit of extra tape at the places that will run across our ribbon. But I'm just going to use this here. So as I'm looking at it here, right in the middle, I'm going to need a little bit of extra. And so let's just put some of our red line tape along that. You could put the red line tape around the entire piece. That would work perfectly. I don't know why I like to save pieces though, or I like to be frugal with my supplies. I don't know. Do you have that problem? I've been trying to get over that, especially with my paper, because I will save paper and not use it, and then it's like, but I'm not using it. So anyways, you can tell that's why I have paper left from probably 2008 or 2012. I'm not sure what year this was, but I need to just use it. Okay, up, there we go. And get this up. And this is gonna rest on our ribbon. And we've got this front piece placed, and really just burnish that down. You're gonna have a little bit of bump with your ribbon, but that's okay. Now let's just apply our tape along this side of our cover, or back cover, I guess this would be now. And I'm gonna do the same thing with some baloney tape along the edge there, about where it's going to hit up with the ribbon. And I might could have just used that side length, but that's okay. Put a little across the middle as well. And then let me take these up. Okay, so now it's time to put this back cover down, and I want to show you, again, look at this ribbon. You can kind of see this bump. I need to make sure I smooth it out. I want the bump to be right on the spine. So I'm going to smooth that out. I have to be careful with it. I'm going to kind of even pull it there and try to do one-handed, placing this piece down with a little bit of a border. Okay, and there we go. And just take this, burnish it down with our bone folder, get right there on that ribbon. And now when we fold, we still have a nice clean fold of our booklet with the ribbon there. We open up and we have this. And so far, the way that I have made this particular one, it doesn't matter if this is the top or this is the bottom, or one is the front, one is the other. It doesn't matter. But I'm just going to go with this right here. And I want to do now a little bit of decorating of this front cover, so that will determine what's the front. I have this piece of vellum that has these cute spider webs on it. This is from a Michael's paper pad last year. And then I have this vintagey looking cat that is just a printable that I found online. I'm sure it's from Creative Fabrica, and I have cut that out, and I'm pretty sure I cut it out with my Cricut. So that's a nice little feature to have. So what I was thinking I would do is take the vellum paper, kind of place it about in the middle, and then we will pop up this little cat on the front. I have a brand new sheet of pop dots and foam dots. I'm so excited to start a new one. Okay, so here's one thing though. When we have a vellum sheet, how do we place this down? Because it is sheer without seeing, and I think that's actually the front. The image is darker. How do we place this down so that we don't see the glue? There's several different ways we can do this. I think I'm going to use my little glue dots, and we might apply some of those, and then also do a little bit thicker in the middle, because I'm going to be placing this on top, and that'll cover it up. So let's try that. So let's go with my tape runner across the middle area, because that's going to be covered up. Now see, if we place this down, it's not very obvious that you can see it, but it's sort of obvious. So now if there's any places maybe, let's see, do we want to try the glue dot? If we want to put them in the corners, Is that going to be too visible? I can always take it off if I don't like it. I've got it right here in the corner. But when I press that down, is it going to be too obvious? I don't really like it. So I'm going to take this off. And I can just peel it off pretty much. Leaves a little bit of a residue. Maybe that's enough for what I need. I'm thinking really the stickiness that I need is going to be enough with this piece here. I'm going to flatten this out again. And I want to place it about in the middle. So I'm going to line it up. I think my paper is cut. Oh, yes. So this one is actually 2 inches wide and it's cut to the length, which is 3 3/8. Place it here and we'll press that down. You can't really see the tape an awful lot, but you can see the strips there. So I'm good. This stays down. This is staying down fine. So now let's take our little cat. Let's put some pop dots on the back, the little foam dots. I want it to pop up all over the front here. Make sure his hat is popped up. I love to have these little printables for projects such as this. Is that going to be enough? Let me do one more right down here at his collar as well. And I'll take these off and we'll be ready to put these on the front. All right, here we have everything on the back here is ready to go. And I'm just going to place him on the front right in the middle. And there we go. So cute. I love this cat. I love little vintagey looking Halloween figures. Is that not cute? And we have our inside. So let's see how everything fits in. Let's go back. I forget. I'm working on all this. And this was the reason that we made everything. And so that's for these to just slide in here in our pockets. It's kind of a tight fit, but it fits right in there nicely. And this one we just kind of flip over. I love that it's double-sided. That works great. And that's why it would also work great if you make your own. Now, isn't that cute? I love the gray. Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to tie everything together. Make a cute little bow. Oops, I lost my ribbon. We'll tie it together. I love this ribbon too. It is from Stampin' Up. It's several years back. It's called Basic Black, but I think it has a gray feel to it for me. It's not your pure black. All right, there we've got our cute bow on this, and I think I'm so happy how these turned out. 2 different looks. One a little bit more whimsical, then you have the more vintagey look, and both with the cute little notebooks inside. These to me would make great gifts. A great thing you could carry around in your purse, make little notes, that sort of thing. Great Halloween memories. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make this today, and I hope you'll be able to try some yourself, whether it be for Halloween or some other season. So they're cute little things to make and to have on hand and to use your pretty papers. I'll see you again on the next cute project.